we're involved with about 20 utilities at the moment, and about half of those are planning to use, and we're in the process of rolling out, big box retail partners in order to fulfill. So that their mechanism as a utility will be to put things in bills, that vouchers and so on, that incent people to go and make purchasing decisions. The reason I think, and reasonable people can disagree here, and I was once called reasonable. The reason I think the utilities have a vital role to play here is that we talk a lot about the need to incent people to change their behavior, and price plays a function in that. So the ability to use the price of electricity to incent people, either actively or passively through buying smart appliances, to consume energy at different times in the day is a vital part of these systems. And the only person who can change the price of electricity is the supplier of it. And so the telco can't do that, the broadband company can't do that, and so on. So the utility has a vital role to play in here, which is why we've focused our effort on not just providing a platform and in-home systems to do this, but to work with the utilities to build pricing programs that envisage electric cars turning up and smart appliances that can make ice during the night rather than during the day, and so on and so forth. So that's why we think the utility plays a vital role, regardless of whether the consumer buys the product from a retail channel or not. Most of the utilities we work with acknowledge that they haven't had a great relationship with their consumer up until now, and most see this, that they may be a self-selecting group, but most of the people we're working with see this as an opportunity to improve that relationship and really change the nature of the conversation. Right now, the conversation between a utility and its consumer typically centers around the bill and around outages. So there are all sorts of opportunities now to start to encourage consumers to look at new ways to consume energy, and I think I'm encouraged that utilities get that, and they're also seeking help to get better at that. A lot of times the wrong question is asked. So the question will be, do you want the utility to be involved in setting your temperature in your thermostat? And most people will say no to that. But if the question is, do you want that, a new power plant, or rolling blackouts, most people will accept the first thing. And so really the alternatives are not being put to consumers properly. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is that as part of this education process and using clever rates, you can show consumers that if they become active in this process, they will benefit massively from adapting their energy usage patterns to an off-peak or peak or time of use type model. So and it has to happen slowly. There are lots of people who are scared of the idea of time of use pricing. It's been around for a while in the commercial industrial space, but we need to move very slowly and carefully in the consumer space. And demonstrate in the kinds of projects that we're working on that are sort of city-scale projects over the next couple of years, the benefits to consumers have really pushed that message. We're engaged with an industrial design company at the moment looking at exactly this problem. And the temptation, and we walked down this path a little bit too much, was to say that consumers have had no data, therefore we need to give consumers data. And actually, nobody understands what a kilowatt hour is. And so the design firm that we're working with, we've challenged them to think about the 5 bars on a cell phone. Everybody knows the 5 bars is better than 3 bars, which is better than no bars. I have AT&T, so I get no bars quite a lot. But nobody knows what the radio signal strength is that corresponds with 5 bars, for example. So we're engaged in a fascinating, it's about a 4-month process at the moment where we're trying all sorts of different things out. We've come up with some fairly amazing conclusions, fairly radical conclusions, I think. I'm not allowed to share them yet because we're launching in March, but with a new set of interfaces. But it is a real challenge to find ways to talk to consumers in ways that don't scare them. At the beginning, the utility and the consumer need to have incentives that are aligned. That isn't the case in many cases. And the temptation here is to paint the utility as the demon in this and put the CEO of the utility in a position that is frankly not right. We need to create models where the utility is incented to drive consumption down without affecting the shareholders of the utility. And there are lots of different mechanisms to do that. Decoupling is one. So that's one thing that has to happen, the whole concept of aligning incentives. The second is that price plays a vital role, as we discussed before. If you can't use price and the variation of it to drive behavior, I don't believe that you'll see the kind of changes that we need to see. And the third thing is, there's a real risk here that the lag between the smart meter going in, which has huge value to the utility related to improved meter reading and so on, and the in-home network that provides the value to the consumer is so great that the consumer starts to get disenfranchised by the process. So you've got to close that gap. So if you can do those three things, I think you'll have a successful consumer program.